Hey everyone, this is Mason, and today I want to go over how we can use the different workflows in the modify block to enhance our concept visualization. So for today's example, I'm just going to go ahead and use this sketch of like a sort of sci-fi pistol, concepts, something simple like a concept art prop that we can use to explore within Vizcom. So first things first, right now I have a basic sketch. So what I'm going to do is just quickly come up with a couple different renders and then sort of take it from there with the modify block. So as always, I'll just go ahead and click on the plus icon and click on prompt. Right here, I'll just give it a basic description via the describe function. So it says futuristic black handgun with an angular design. So I like everything in that prompt. I think that's fine. I think I might just change it to maybe have some sort of specific color scheme. So we can say like orange and white accent handgun with angular design. And then I do want to explore a couple of different options. So let's go ahead and batch generate with some different drawing influences. I'll go ahead and do everything from like 100 to maybe like 80, 60, and maybe like 50%. So I'm going to be exploring a little bit more of the different form variations here just to kind of play around as a base. So I'll generate 4 images, and then let's also go ahead and do it with realistic product. So I went ahead and generated a couple of variations, and what I ended up doing was I kind of like different bits and parts of different generations. So I just went ahead and composited some of them onto just one layer. So this is kind of the design that we'll be working off of. And so now let's go into the modify block functions and features that will hopefully add to the exploration portion, as well as providing us with different utilities like different view angles. So let's start off with that. So I'm going to click on the plus icon and click on modify, and then we'll go ahead and address the first workflow, which is the new view. So let's say that I have a side profile view. As you know, doing side profile views keeps it focused more so on the design, and we don't have to worry too much about perspective. But what if we now want to start visualizing and creating a sort of 2D representation of like a 3D block out to kind of get more information around the design. So what I can do is go ahead and click on these different nodes on this chart. So each corner sort of represents the 3/4 view. So for example, this one says front left 3/4, which I'll go ahead and generate. And then each one of these faces represents, like the actual top plane, side plane, or front plane of the input image. So for example, if I wanted to get the left view, which I already have, or if I wanted to go ahead and get the top view in this case, then I can go ahead, click on the plane, and then this will generate the top. One thing you'll notice though from this cube view of selecting different angles is that the back view angles, such as the rear and the bottom 3/4 views, are going to be hidden from this initial cube. So to access that, you're going to have to go to the drop-down menu where you'll be able to access those hidden faces and those hidden corner views. So for example, if I wanted to do a bottom view, I can go ahead and click on generate. And then if I wanted to get that bottom right 3/4 view, I can also use that. All right, so here we have the different views of our sci-fi weapon design. So right here, when you click on the thumbnail, you'll get a indication of what angle that you use to generate. So for this example, this has the front left 3/4 view. The top view didn't quite capture it this time around. Sometimes it will be sort of hit or miss depending on the type of prop or subject. Sometimes it might require a different generation mode. But if we take a look at the other ones like the bottom view and the bottom 3/4, they're pretty spot on, I'd say. And at least for some of these, I can definitely use them to sort of carry them forward and bring them into different workflows. So for example, if I wanted to, I can go ahead and arrange all of these into one image block and then go ahead and create a 3D model, for example. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, so here is my model with using the Vizcom multi-view 3D model generator. So again, now that I have all these different angles and previews, I can then use them either as part of like my concept art sheet or take it even further and create a 3D model block out more accurately using these different views that I've generated from the new view. I'll modify. So the next modify workflow that we'll cover is the change expressions, and this one is pretty interesting. Now you probably wouldn't think of using this workflow initially to sort of explore different expression changes on this wheel with something like a sci-fi sort of like weapon prop or any sort of like prop that isn't like some sort of character. But what actually is really interesting is that when you generate with the change expressions workflow on inanimate objects or different products or props, you actually will get like sort of symbolic representations and variations based on the types of emotions. So, for example, I'm going to go ahead and generate a couple of different examples, and then you'll kind of see what I mean when they sort of take on their symbolic representation. Okay, so right here we have a couple of different variations based on the change expressions. Uh, so let's go through them one by one and kind of see what it did. So for this one, this is the happy expression for whatever, you may see this as like happy, there's no smiles or anything, but you can definitely get a sense that, you have softer curves in the form language. A lot of things are more rounded out. And let's take a look at the sad expression. So kind of similar, but you can almost think of this, I think some of the hues might have slightly gotten a little bit more gray, quite literally. Um, and then also kind of adapting or adopting the soft form language with the sad expression. This one is curious, so I think this one it kind of gives me like that old retro, um, Y2K like type of aesthetic, especially with those holes in the middle and such. So I'm not quite sure if this is like what exact symbolic interpretation is. And when you're doing something with props, it's not always going to be that exact like seeing that exact expression, with something as abstract. But I think it's still really interesting. I think by far my favorite though is the angry change expression. So I think this one really uh, hit the nail with like a lot of the sharp angles, really enhanced the angular design and even added a lot of like really interesting details. I think this by far has a lot of like really great potential. And I think I might actually move forward with this because it kind of breathes a whole new different life into the design that perhaps I want to further explore taking it from this point on. Okay, so for this next example, we have the extract material workflow. So this is going to be, as I tie it to our concept variation, is mainly going to be focused on extracting a certain type of material from, let's say, a different type of reference image, and then applying that to our initial concept. So for this example, I found a sort of reference of perhaps the different direction I want to take this in, and maybe I want to just extract a portion of this material. So let's say I wanted to extract most of, let's say, like this rusted like iron or steel barrel construction right here. So what I would do is click on the extract material workflow, and then this brings up a sub menu or a sub window that kind of allows you to zoom in and out of certain parts or sections. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in onto that barrel and kind of move my this little square so that we can get that. And let's say we can click directly to generate right here, or we can also clarify the materials and say something like rusted iron, or let's say rusted steel, or perhaps worn steel, gun barrel, sci-fi. This will give you a square flat texture image that you can then use in other workflows within Vizcom, most commonly the material reference workflow. So I'm going to add this to my reference images. And then let's say I wanted to do like a material application on these certain portions of my design. What I can do is select the auto select tool and then use material transfer. One more note with the extract material workflow is that the material textures do come in as seamless textures. So you can actually test this yourself. If you go ahead and I went ahead and generate some textures based off this images. So we have this stylized stone texture. If I were to take this over here and then just duplicate a couple of copies, you'll see that the seams and the borders actually line up and that these textures that are generated from Vizcom with the extract material do come in as seamless textures. So this can be useful for constructing, game asset texture types. If you have a reference image and you want to be able to extract a seamless texture, using the extract material function can achieve that sort of result. So another way that you can change your form language on your design is with the form variation tool. So when you click on this, you'll get a sort of graph that will allow you to select certain parts of this grid to either make it more complex, more simple, and either more organic or geometric. So this sort of works on these two axes to sort of get a whole wide range. And what I'll do is I'll kind of first generate a couple of different extremes and then kind of see which area I want to branch off into. So I'll have one that's complex and organic, one that's geometric and complex, one that's simple and geometric, and one that's organic and simple. So these are the sort of extremes that you'll see in a bit. So right here, we can go through these one by one. As you can see, with the different variations, we get totally uh, different changes of just the form language itself. So none of the colors or the original type of, the original design is for the most part still there. It's just now that we're exploring different form variations. So you can almost think of this, we had the change expressions. That's more so for like character workflows, but that also has like some utility in the, uh, in the props or product space. But the form variation is very much like a tailor suited for just any sort of design in general, where you're trying to explore what it might look like in these types of extremes. So as you can see, the very organic and very complex, you get a lot of curvatures, you get a lot of flowing lines, and you also got a lot of inner details, as well as the geometric. You kind of get that sort of interior breakup of the shapes and the paneling and such. So that's kind of what the geometric will look like. And then you also have some of the geometric simplified and the organic simplified, and you can kind of see like bits and remnants of both like the original design, funny enough, that we had, as well as the some of the expressions that we explored earlier, like the happy and the sad expressions. So what I would recommend is definitely, see what the extremes are and then kind of pick what area you want to like focus in on. So, for example, let's say we want to create a couple of different organic variations, then I'll go ahead and make that a new copy, and then we'll go ahead and click on modify and then click on form variations. And then if I want to keep things in the organic space, then I'm going to more so live in this area where these three squares will represent the organic space from complex to simple. Again, and then this other side will be geometric, complex to all the way simple. So if I want to stay in this organic space, maybe I want to do something within the similar vein, then I'll just go ahead and generate a couple different like values. So I can always use the different lines and the grids itself to kind of give each different value, and they all have different sort of float values assigned in terms of the weight of each type of parameter. So every little slight adjustment will allow you to explore a new variation. All right, so here are a couple of different variations that I've made in the meantime. So the top section represents, again, that organic space that we explored. And then I kept it more in the middle of between like complex and simple. I didn't want to get too crazy with something like this, but kind of want to explore something in the middle. And then the on the flip side, I wanted to explore something a little bit more simple on the geometric side and kind of get some subtle form variations there. So I think I could have probably modified some of those variables a little bit to kind of get a little bit more variation. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with a lot of the ability to just kind of see what this uh, prop and weapon design could look like in perhaps different contexts. All right, so to summarize, we had this initial sketch that we made a couple of different renders on, and then I went ahead and picked my favorite one. And then this is kind of where, you sort of get into the deep end and like really have some fun with playing around with the different variation tools. So, on the topics part we explored earlier, we had the change expressions, which is super awesome to kind of like see and actually generated one of my more favorite results that I really wanted to dive deep on. So you can almost think of all the rest of these as an extension, because I went ahead and just duplicated that and then did some form exploration, exploring all the quadrants of this matrix graph, everything from the organic to geometric to simple. And then I just wanted to, do some further explorations separating them out. So right here I have some on the top section, I have geometric form explorations, and then on the bottom I have some more tuned in organic ones. So really love how I'm just able to get all these different variations just from this one sketch. The work that it would have taken otherwise to have to redraw, re-render, I can do all this with the ease of the Vizcom modify workflow and kind of get a whole wide range of different ideas, and all these different ideas sort of like spawn new ideas. So what I took from here, after I did an initial material reference, gathering on one of these organic types, I went ahead and uh, did some more form variations, and stuff like this pops up. I'm like, oh, that's cool, like let me see how that might look like with like adding like a prismatic like jewel effect. So then I went ahead and did that, and then as a teaser, upcoming in the next tutorial series, we'll talk about more how we can extend out the modify feature to include your own types of changes, so that you can explore things like color variations and explore things such as placing your scene, your asset into different scenes, and then taking those scenes and assets to then visualize them and really help sell the idea. So then what it looks like at the end product is something that you can just animate, and then you get a really clear representation of what this idea or what this concept is, and it really makes for a really fun and workflow to explore your and concept your ideas. So that'll be it for this video. Definitely would recommend trying the new modify block and exploring all the different workflows. So see you guys in the next one.